Real quick before the video starts, I have a new channel based around green text stories on 4chan, and I'll be uploading videos daily over there. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to the channel in the description. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Necessary Garlic in the AITA subreddit. The post is titled, "I told my transgender kid that I need more time to process this. I am a 58-year-old male and have a child, a 17-year-old female to male transgender individual. My child uses he/him pronouns at school and around friends and also goes by a preferred name at school. My wife and I have signed off on anything related to school and refer to my child with the preferred name and pronouns around teachers and friends. We are also in the process of hiring a college counselor and have introduced my child with the preferred name and pronouns to the counselor, since that is what will be going on the college application. Last night, my child asked me why my wife and I have not used the preferred name and pronouns at home, despite it being 5 years since my child came out. My child seemed laid back and steady throughout the entire conversation, but also appeared frustrated at times, particularly with my answers. The truth is, as I told my child, I need a little more time. I have called my child by one name for 17 years. It is not easy to just switch at the press of a button. My child also pointed out that some friends who are transgender have much more flexible parents regarding all this, but I feel like my wife and I have been doing a good job. We got things set up with the school, and we refer to my child in the preferred way around friends. I do not understand why my child is upset. I have not used their legal name in years, but apparently that is not enough. In my defense, my child has never formally asked me or my wife to use the preferred name or pronouns at home. I asked my child about this, and the response was, "It is not something I should have to ask you. It is something you just do." I feel like my feelings are not being considered here. It is not an easy change. I told my child that I was sorry things were not moving as fast as my child might like, but that I need time to process. We ended the conversation there on what I thought was a positive note, but my child has been giving me the silent treatment since they woke up this morning. I have told my wife that we should all have a discussion this weekend, but I am worried it will not have the outcome my child wants. I am very grateful that my child has been so patient, but I feel like some things might be said that my child will regret, and I am worried about how that might impact our relationship. Apologies for the ramble. I do not have a lot of experience in this and was hoping for some thoughts from people in a similar situation or who know people in a similar situation. Am I the asshole? Edit 1. I have seen a lot of rage bait comments, and I can assure you I am not nearly that talented a writer to come up with this on my own. This is a real person's story, and I appreciate all the advice I have received. My family is having a discussion this weekend, and I do not really know how updates work on this subreddit, but I might post an update afterward if people are interested. Edit 2. I did not expect this post to gain so much attention. I appreciate all the helpful advice and direct messages I have received. Replying to comments is a bit overwhelming, but I assure you I have read as many as I can. Update. A lot has happened, and while my child is away at camp, I thought I would take the time to post an update. I received a lot of advice in the thousands of comments and dozens of direct message requests I received. Much of this advice was a wake-up call that my wife and I really needed, and I appreciate everyone who took the time to send thoughtful and constructive responses. To those who wrote that my child was mentally ill, that he was just confused, or that I needed to send him to a conversion camp, shame on all of you. My child is happy, he is loved, and he is not going to hell just for being who he is. On to what happened. My family and I had a series of discussions following the original conversation I had with my child. To put it simply, we realized how important it was for my child to be referred to by his preferred name and pronouns all the time, including at home. Over the months that have passed since our discussion, I have been referring to my child by his preferred name as much as I can. Yes, I occasionally mess up, but I am trying my hardest. He went to prom this year with his friends, and I took him to rent a suit for the first time. When we left with the suit in hand, he turned to me and said that it was the first time I had not made a single mistake and that he really felt like my son for the first time. I will not lie, it made me tear up a little. We also went to a Father's Day baseball game this year, like we always do, but he told me afterward that it felt like this was the first father-son game instead of a daddy-daughter game. Even though our team got absolutely demolished, I think that was the most fun I have ever had at a game with him. It made me realize that I was putting my own comfort first when, in reality, seeing him this happy should have been my #1 priority. I have been talking to my mother about referring to my child with the correct name and pronouns, and it has been a little slower. She has been to my son's theater performances where his preferred name is listed in the program, but I do not think she fully understands that that name is going to be a permanent thing, not a school nickname. I do not expect her to fully get it, and my child is very understanding. However, my wife is still getting used to it, and it is definitely taking her a lot more time. My son will often point out how she goes out of her way to use non-specific language when talking about him. For example, he lost his keys last week, and when my wife told me, she said, "I can't find the keys." The ellipsis is to show the pause she made when thinking of what to say. I did not notice it very much at first, and I will admit, part of it is because I used to make a similar mistake. But it has become pretty noticeable. I have talked to her in private, but she has always been less willing, and part of me thinks she truly believes it is a phase. I do not know what to tell her. My son is relatively fine with it, but goes out of his way to avoid being around my wife when she is talking about him. Family events are also a bit of a nightmare. My wife's side of the family is huge and she loves hosting, but they are not the greatest with my son's name and pronouns. Surprisingly though, her father has been pretty good, calling my child E and occasionally using male pronouns, but it depends on who he is talking to. There is another transgender member on my mother's side, but there has been a lot of hostility surrounding this person, and I wonder if part of that hostility is leaking into how the family views my son as well. My son has discussed hormone replacement therapy, and I know he plans to start as soon as he turns 18. I am still discussing this with my wife, who is against it. She wants him to wait until he is done with college because she is worried that with all the changes that will happen then, hormone replacement therapy would just be too much. I do not know what to think. He has been saving money from basically anywhere he can. He worked a job last summer, and I know he has a couple $100s in his piggy bank. Our insurance would cover it, but it is under my wife's name, so she would have to allow it if I'm not mistaken. I know my son has done more research than I have. I know he has been looking forward to this, and I know he is a sneaky kid. He will find a way to get his hands on it with or without my wife and me. I just want him to be safe and happy. I sincerely apologize for all my rambling. I never thought I would update this post because I was not sure if I would have anything good to report. My wife and I are working on getting my son back into therapy. The normal kind, not the one that will deny my son his much-deserved happiness. He was in therapy before but asked to be removed from his then current therapist because it was not helping him very much. He has asked for a younger therapist, one who has more shared interests, and one who specializes in transgender youth. We are working on it. I think if that goes smoothly, then we will all be better off. My son has brought up family therapy, but my wife is very much against it. She does not really believe in all that stuff. Thank you again to everyone who reached out and left helpful advice. I cannot thank you enough. If this ends up in one of those Reddit TikTok videos that I see my son watching when he is supposed to be doing homework, and if he sees this, I hope you know how much I love you and care about you. Please come talk to me anytime about anything. Seeing you happy is all I care about. Polka Dot Pygmy Puff said, I genuinely thought from the title that the son had transitioned about a month ago and was expecting everyone to get everything right straight away. But 5 years? Yeah, OP is going to have to make a choice in the future. His wife or his son. I do not see him having both when his wife is obviously in denial about the reality of who her child is and would rather awkwardly fumble for words than just use his. A private islander said, the fact that they appropriately gendered him while he was in front of friends was proof that they could do it. They just do not want to. This next story was made in the same subreddit by a user named Afraid Mammoth. The post is titled, "I laughed at my stepson and ruined his wedding. For context, I have been married to my husband for just over 20 years. We started dating when my stepchildren were 5 and 3. Our children are Adam, 28, stepchild number 1, Ben, 26, stepchild number 2, Charles, 20, David, 17, and Ellie, 13. Adam is getting married at the end of summer to his fiancée, Alice, who is 27. We have all been very excited for them. All of the children have roles for the wedding. Charles is the best man, the other 2 boys are groomsmen, and Ellie is a junior bridesmaid. Last weekend, we had a dinner for my husband's birthday. All of the children attended along with Alice. The topic of the wedding came up again, and this is where it started to go downhill. Ellie brought up that she was so excited to go dress shopping and that we planned to go to a bigger city in a few weeks to get her a dress and me, as the stepmother of the groom, a dress. At that, Alice looked at Adam sideways and responded that we only needed to worry about one dress, Ellie's. Ellie kind of laughed and said, "What are you expecting mom to wear? A suit?" Alice responded with, "OP isn't going. You know we are keeping our guest list very limited to only family and a few close friends." What? Adam and Alice have been to our house numerous times for holidays, dinners, and just to say hi since they have been engaged. This has never been brought up. Pretty quickly, things escalated. The Cliff Notes version is that Charles asked them to clarify if they were choosing to uninvite me now or if I was never invited. Alice confirmed the latter. Why? Adam said it was because I am not his mother. Charles, David, and Ellie argued with Adam and Alice that none of them would go if I was not invited, that it was cruel to leave me out given I have been his parent for the majority of his life and loved him like my own. My husband and I admittedly sat there for a minute just completely shocked. Adam finally turned to my husband and said, "Well, my husband told him he would not be going either." Adam then turned to me and asked if I was really going to let everyone ruin his wedding on my behalf. Here is where I might be the asshole. I just laughed. I do not know what came over me, but the entire thing was just so ridiculous that laughing was the only thing I could do. I told my husband I would be waiting in the car and left, and then promptly bawled my eyes out. Anyway, Charles, David, and Ellie are not talking to Adam. Adam called my husband yesterday to try and smooth things over. He was still adamant I am not invited and it is their wedding. He also requested I apologize for laughing at him. My husband told him tough luck. It is their wedding and they can invite whoever they want, but they cannot control who will actually go. He said they owe me an apology and that Adam should be ashamed of himself. Update. Before I give an update, I just want to answer a few frequently asked questions. I am not an affair partner. My husband did not cheat on his ex-wife with me. We met about a year after they divorced. She was already engaged, not to my husband, not that that really matters. Ben was at the dinner. He is autistic. I went into it more in some of my comments, but he was very upset. He does not understand what the argument was exactly about, but he was mostly upset at Adam for saying I am not their parent and then at all the siblings for fighting with each other. Anyway, the update. The short version is, if you guessed it was related to biological mom, you were correct. I did not want this to be the case. Adam rescheduled with Charles for Monday, citing Easter weekend, which is fair enough. He also texted my husband to let him know that he and Alice would be spending Easter with her parents. We expected that. At some point on Sunday, Ellie texted Alice. I am not sure what exactly was said, but it prompted Alice to spill everything that was going on with her parents. I have met them a few times, but they live a few hours away. They encouraged her and Adam to reach out to us to clear everything up. On Monday, we dropped Ben off at biological mom's. He stayed an extra night for Easter fun. A few hours later, she began to blow up my husband's phone as Ben mentioned the fight. My husband answered one call, during which she was screaming and promptly hung up. He texted her that the siblings argued, everything is fine, and if Ben has any further questions, we will talk about them when he is back with us. From some of the things she texted, we knew she was the root of all of this. Monday, Adam also met up with Charles and he did come clean. Charles texted us to see if it was okay if they came over afterward and we said yes. I am not going to lie. Adam looked a mess. He immediately began crying and apologizing. The short and sweet version is that he has been trying to mend bridges with biological mom. Their wedding is not 60 people. It has blown up to about double that, and they have been struggling to figure out how to pay for it. At one of their visits, Alice let it slip and biological mom jumped in to help pay for things. It slowly snowballed from there, from small requests to big requests. I am not sure what the final nail in the coffin was, but it ended with biological mom requesting that I not be there. Adam said it was easier to hurt me and risk World War III with his mom. Alice's parents were less than pleased to find out how biological mom has been with the wedding budget, and even less so at biological mom's antics. They are trying to figure out how to start covering the payments biological mom has made, and we have decided to help some with this. Adam also asked if we could meet again in a few days with Alice, and we said yes. There is still a lot of ground to cover for this to be close to mended. I am still hurt, but mostly I am angry on behalf of my oldest son. Update 2. It has been a while, but I have an update. I did post a prior update already, but it was taken down for not having a clear enough resolution. AITA still will not allow my update, something about this post still being a midway point, and that posting an update on my own profile counts as my AITA update. I do not know, so here is the longer unfiltered version of that update. To catch everyone up really quickly, Adam came over to have a conversation with us after talking to Charles. He has been reconnecting with his mother over the last year, and she is the real root of everything. It started with small requests as they got closer, then she started paying for things at the wedding, and it escalated to me being uninvited. About a week after that, Adam and Alice came over for another conversation. My husband and I read through all of your comments and already had a game plan. We explained that while we love them to bits and forgive them, this is still a big mess, and they need to hold themselves accountable for 1, the mess with biological mom, and 2, how they treated me. It was not just about the dinner, it was also about the months they allowed their ex-wife to speak poorly about me to them. We would not be bailing them out financially for this. I have not pried into too many details, but Adam had a talk with his mom. She was calm and agreed to everything he said, which was suspicious. Mostly they agreed that they would not exclude me from future events or tolerate any unkind words about me moving forward. He and Alice canceled their wedding. They got back a good portion of their money, mostly to pay back biological mom. When he tried to drop off a check to her, she absolutely lost it. Adam has not wanted to talk much about the things that were said, but he has told us they are currently no contact. I will not say the exact date, but Adam and Alice asked us all to meet for dinner. We got there, and Alice's parents and siblings were there too. It was not just dinner. They eloped. We got to go to the courthouse with them and then celebrate with them afterwards. They seemed so happy. 3 days later, my husband was at work and I was coming home from errands when I got a very panicked call from Ellie. The ex-wife was outside, pounding on our door and screaming her head off. I gave Ellie instructions and then called emergency services. I then called my husband. When I got there, the ex-wife was already detained. She had not broken in but had damaged the outside of our door and the siding surrounding it, and she was still screaming. The things she was saying were absolutely vile, and the main reason I have not wanted to update. It was everything from her saying she hates me and that it is my fault Adam will not talk to her, to stealing my kids from me will not replace the ones you lost. After that comment, I tuned out the rest until she was placed in the back of a police car. It is important context, but we have had several miscarriages, one of which I know the ex-wife knew about. What I really think she was getting at is the baby we had in between David and Ellie, who was full term and stillborn. I still do not understand how anyone could say something so awful and carry so much hate. Putting it out there is hard, and honestly, I do not have much to say about it other than I am lucky to have the husband I do. Some of the charges we declined to pursue, and some the police department will be pursuing regardless of whether we ask them to or not. She is already bailed out, but our restraining order has been granted pending a court date with the judge. From the bits and pieces we hear, the ex-wife's family has put her on lockdown. Her brother works for the department that arrested her, so this has been quite the talk of the town. We have not heard from her since, and her mother has told my husband we absolutely will not be hearing from her or having any other issues. We have been doing exchanges for Ben with stepdad. Miyuki said, "It is so sad that his biological mother could not love her son more than she hated her ex's wife." To this comment, Cat Person said, "And why? OP was not cheating with her now ex-husband, so what is biological mom's reasoning? Biological mom was remarried. What concerns me the most is that Adam was listening to his mother's nonsense about OP, took money from biological mom, and agreed. He knows his stepmother better than that. Shame on Adam." Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersubs. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.